And I think that people, even people with Asperger's and autism, they need to be aware of treating other people kindly and adhering to the community standards. Even though it may be more difficult, it's more encouraging as well to overcome that. That's what I found too. Because in the past, I've treated people inappropriately without knowing. So a simple heart-to-heart talk, as they say, can really help. And that's always the human thing. Beyond rules, it comes down to humane understanding. And let's see. Well, no, Asperger's is no excuse for being a jerk. I don't think it is. Because I was a jerk before. I have been a jerk. But I've learned. I have learned. I think sometimes it's difficult, like I said, for people to relate. But communication, whether someone has Asperger's or someone speaks a foreign language, there are bound to be some sorts of communication barriers or gaps, and bridging those is what each and all of us should aspire for, not trying to use Asperger's as an excuse ever. I hate seeing that. I would rather seeing it used as a reason for, hey, you know, I'm having a hard time with this, please understand, but I'll reach out to you, will you reach back to me please, and we can do this better together. And that's really how things have been for me. That's my personal advantage, and that's what I've had through my experience and my opinion. Did I miss any other questions? I'm going to keep reading here. Oh, agoraphobia, that's true. That's what I got into music for in part, because it means that I would have to go into large open spaces and perform for crowds. Second Life has been interesting because being able to stand so near to avatars, and I know it seems like sort of a paradox that way, like if I have agoraphobia, how would I stand near to people in the first place? Well, it comes without thinking, but when I see really big crowds when I was a kid, there was an anxiety, not so much of the crowd itself, but I think sometimes of trying to fit in or trying to come off as someone who wasn't a total freak, to be very candid about that. But by far and large, experience has made the difference. Just being there, doing something, doing it over and over. Because the first few times I do something, the first few times most people do something, there's going to be mistakes, horrible mistakes, and you're going to goof up. Horrible in the sense that, oh, you're looking at, you never want to do it again. But don't give up. Keep on going and keep on iterating. Look at those mistakes, patch them up, and through generation after generation. That's how we all learn. It's the same reason why we don't kind of, we're not harsh on babies, not being able to walk right out. It takes little steps. And let me see here. Oh, great question, Rabid Barkley. I don't know what... The prosecution, the defense rests. I don't know what else to say with that. Malachi, that's a great question from Milton Broom. He said, greetings, Torley. In your opinion, what is the advantage of Second Life over real life for people with autism and Asperger's? Well, one of the great benefits for me has been a lack of really feeling uncomfortable in social spaces. Because by going up to someone, and I know this works, this is another one of those dual edge things, because you don't perceive some senses, you don't get all the emotional bandwidth. But in lack of that, sometimes it's less threatening. Also, there's definitely not the fear of physical violence. Unfortunately, I know some friends I've had with Asperger's have had to contend with that. I've had to contend with that as a kid. Second Life, of course, will also allow you to really focus on your passionate interests and even obsessions. As I call them, glad addictions. Because what you can do is really go all out with something like watermelons, or in my, other things I've done, textures, make hundreds of them, and should really, really share and really have a benefit and opportunity to share so much about yourself in a concentrated space without feeling that you're being stared at all the time. I know that not so much me as some other people with autism that I've known, but eye contact can be difficult. So I really understand where that's coming from as well. And I don't know quite about what's happening on TSL. I would love to know more. Perhaps I should hear from some of our Lindens who are working there. But nonetheless, outside of Second Life, there's communities that we can connect to. There's some I used to frequent a lot, not so much recently, like wrongplanet.net. Let me just type the URL for that, because it's a fantastic forum for people with Asperger's and autism. Thanks, Muse. Yeah, it's not part of Second Life, but sometimes people bring up Second Life there. Bonehead, I don't quite know that because I've never seen colors from someone else's vantage point, but I think that I just have a very keen grasp of dynamic range, meaning that I'm going to look for the edges. I'm going to look for the extremes, the brightest pinks and greens, or the greatest things you can do, the superlatives, as they were. So I would summarize that, but like I said, I don't have the color blindness some people have. I've just never seen colors from someone else's eyes. Mordecai Skaggs asked, let's see. He asked, have you found as you get more immersed in Second Life, has my Asperger's come to the fore as it would in First Life? Yes, there's always been a crossover for me. It depends on who I'm conversing with. Some people, they don't care. They don't care that I'm autistic or whatever. Other people are deeply interested because they may be autistic. They may have a child, as we've seen earlier, who is autistic. And whenever someone comes up, of course, I love to help. Love to give guidance from my limited personal worldview as I can, and hopefully that will encourage them to go forth to do more research and better themselves. And ooh, Torley pants. You can take my textures and put them on your pants. Let's see. We're going over time right now. I certainly love to help answer your questions. Remember, if there's any I can't get in time, come to my office hours or send me an email. If you look up Torley Linden, my work account, look up the web tab and send me an email. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And Libra, it might be, I can't say. That's a generalism. You'd really have to ask who's doing that specifically. I can't talk about other people's motives. I can't talk about why I would do something. And why would I use Pokemon as shoes? Because they're Pikachu! That's why. It's honestly because the person who made them, using Borden Janus, he made some great chairs, and I was at a store, and he had these Pikachus! So I got them. But I'm not tolerant of that sort of Pokemon cruelty. No actual Pokemon were harmed. Thank you again so much to each and everyone for being here and hearing my stories. And if you have any other curiosities, just let me know whenever that time comes through my web tab and my profile. Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Torley.
Oh, thank you, Brett.
Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be here. And it's one of the things, you can never get everything in a single one, so there's always follow-up. Oh, that's one more thing I should emphasize. Follow-up, follow-up, follow-up. Discussion never ends. If you find something cool, share it with a friend. If you learn something new, share it with someone you care about. Follow-up, follow-up, follow-up. Thank you, Brett.
Well, thank you, Torley, for that wonderful. Thank you for that wonderful presentation, and thank you especially for your words of encouragement. I hope a lot of people will be leaving tonight feeling a lot better than when they first arrived. And I hope everyone will join me in thanking you for an outstanding talk. So please, everybody, give a round of applause for Torley, please.
Thanks. Remember, there's always problems in First and Second Life, but there's not always solutions. It's up to you to make them.
That's a good attitude. So, thank you so much. And before everybody, wow, that's quite a
crazy avatar.
A lot of applause there. I do have a few announcements before people disassemble here. I want to, first of all, thank everybody for coming here tonight and supporting Bounce for Autism. It really means a lot to all of us and to the ASA to have support of so many people. I want to remind everyone that we do have donation kiosks and donation boxes placed around the sim, so I hope you'll please take advantage of those and be generous. And also encourage you to check out the auction items. We have a lot of great auction items behind you. A lot of great items were donated by some very generous merchants and vendors in Second Life, so please check that out. You might pick up a great deal and something that you've always wanted. So thank you again, everybody, for coming tonight. Please hang around and stay for the next entertainment and enjoy yourself on the rides. And thank you again for your support. Have a great evening, everybody.